But she lives in the Philippines, and we've been dating for 7 years, but we never truly met each other in person.
A few weeks ago, she just stopped talking to me. She basically ghosted me. I felt abandoned.
It doesn't know that I was engaged before to a different Moroccan man. And I have no idea what's going to happen when he finds out.
Ultimately, I just decided to take the hit and move on and keep Michael as a best friend.
I have noticed Michael's behavior change since I started getting a lot more serious with Beerkan. Definitely gotten a little more touchy-feely.
Sheena and I, we have been having kind of sexual intercourse over the cameras and everything, but I've never slept with a woman before, and I've never really kissed a woman before besides my mother and my grandmother.
Like face to face?
No, I don't want to mess up my makeup.
Okay, that's nice. Okay. This will be the last kiss I will give you. You will see.
So you're not going to kiss me anymore?
No, anymore. I'm a man. I have my word.
Y'all, a new season of B90 is upon us, and let me just lay the lay of the land, okay? We have a Kardashian wannabe that is up to her second Moroccan in like 2 years, okay? And there was an overlap and her current boo does not know, okay? Then we have an autistic virgin guy who seems perfectly capable of leading his life, yet he's being controlled by his girlfriend and the security monitors and his mother IRL. Then there's a girly pop living out her true real-life smut book where she's torn between her Turkish boy toy and her friend-zoned best friend. And that is just to name a few. We have a lot to discuss. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss the new season of Before the 90 Days. Y'all, I think Before the 90 Days is, one of my favorites, and I actually prefer it before the other way. And I was reminded of this because as I was waiting for this episode to come up, I was catching the pillow talk of the prior season, and I was like, oh my God, that feels like a world away. We had Brian, we had Lauren and Faith, we had Niles and Matilda. Like, that was an all-star season. So I'm really excited for all of the hot mess that is to come, and this episode did not disappoint, okay? So before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like, comment, hype, all of the things, because honey, we're gonna need the support to discuss the craziness, okay? So I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna read because I don't wanna miss their stats. We have Forrest, 32 from Oregon, and Sheena, 40 from the Philippines, okay? So at first, we see this guy going around his house. We're noticing some cameras, and I'm like, okay, this is like a lot of security, right? And then we hear someone say, don't burn your eggs. Excuse me?
Don't burn the eggs like last time.
Don't worry, everything's going good, baby.
Creepy doesn't begin to cut it. And literally, they keep panning to these shots of someone eating popcorn as they're watching the camera footage. And it's his girlfriend, Sheena, okay? And I like my privacy. I cannot live like this. However, I am not going to yuck someone's yum. He seems to find comfort in this omnipresence. The only omnipresence I need is God. That's it. But he's like, you know what? I feel comfort. If something were to happen to me, she could see it. I don't know what he thinks she could do from the Philippines, but if that makes him happy, go forth. But that doesn't mean I don't have 1,000,001 questions, because what? We learned that they've been dating for 7 years. They have not met, not once. And personally, I think that he is giving her so much access. Like, okay, you guys have developed this relationship online, but she could be a catfish. You don't know. Y'all, the way that this guy has devoted himself to function at the same hours that she does in the Philippines, we're talking blackout curtains. We're talking like, it doesn't seem like he has a social life outside of his partner, which is, again, a lot to do for someone you have not met.
I'm on Filipino time because I want to spend as much time with Sheena as possible. These are the blackout curtains that I use. So at 4 a.m., I say goodnight to her, and I sleep until 3 or 4, and that's when Sheena wakes up and then we start our day anew again together.
So I just think that it is a lot to give this lady full security access to your apartment. But again, he's like, I've made this home into a smartphone. She has access to everything. I finally saved up and I'm going to go see my girl after 7 years. And I'm like, okay, that's a long time. I don't know why you waited that long, but. And the kicker here is that he's not just going to the Philippines on his own. He's bringing both his mom and his stepdad. And initially, my first thing is okay, that's a bad idea, right? But we learn more information that enforces the thought for me that it is a bad idea, but also justifies why they feel like they need to go. Two things can be true at once, okay? We do meet his mom. His mom comes in. You can already tell that she is not fond of this relationship, but she's trying to be supportive. But you get the feeling that she's treating him like a big child. And, there are people that can't let go even through adulthood. And, we've seen a range of autism on TV, and I feel like he is definitely more on the end that's can function on his own. I mean, he lives on his own, but still, you can tell that his mom is holding on. And at this moment when I was watching, I was judging. But as this episode progresses, you're like, oh. But in this moment, when she's like, yeah, I'm going to take you to the shop that it took you when you were 18, I was like, no. You do not need to take this grown-ass man to a sex shop. I get it. You want him to be safe. Get him condoms. But to take him to a sex shop to go lingerie shopping is crazy. And I'm like, listen, Forrest, you got to have a friend. You got to have at least one friend that you can do this with. Lingerie shopping for your girlfriend with your mom? Having her be like, oh yeah, I prefer this color, is crazy. It's bonkers to me. But again, I am yucking and Forrest is happy. He's like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for my mom. I'm a virgin and Sheena's a virgin, so I don't really know much.
Sheena and I, we have been having kind of sexual intercourse over the cameras. I've never slept with a woman before, and I've never really kissed a woman before besides my mother and my grandmother.
But, we've done all the virtual nasty, and we're going to release our virginities to each other when we see each other. So there's a lot riding on this trip. And I'm just like, okay, well, I hope that your hotel room is far away from your parents, because she seems a little overbearing and I don't know how much you're going to get. And also, in this shop, the mom expresses just how protective she feels over Forrest. And at first, I'm like, So they discuss money, okay? And we haven't met Sheena yet, so we don't know what her life is like in the Philippines. But we have seen a range of people doing well in the Philippines and people doing not so well. But for the most part, the cultural expectation is that you live with your parents.
Forrest, you can't look past the parents because Sheena does everything that the parents want her to do. She's proven that. She's been dishonest to you. Mm-hmm. And I'm just concerned. I'm afraid they're scammers.
They apparently, Sheena and Forrest, had a joint bank account, and he was putting money in there to do their visa paperwork. So that money had a purpose. However, apparently, twice, her parents wiped the account.
Sheena had a bank account with money that was supposed to be saved for her and Forrest. Years later, Sheena tells Forrest that her parents were on that account and they took all of the money out of it. Forrest said, Sheena, open your own bank account up and put your money in there. Do not give your family any more money. But then 4 years later, they did it a second time. Same thing.
His mom is under the impression that she's being brainwashed by her parents and being asked to, give away all the money. And so Mama Forrest is convinced that Sheena's parents are scammers. And they could be, but I also think that there is a world where this is a huge cultural difference, where their parents are probably like, we are in need. We have no food. We have to pay this light bill. And you just have money seated there when you can help your family, which still sounds like it may be a guilt trip. And maybe he should just have the money aside until she gets here. But I think that it is unfair to make all of these assumptions without asking questions. There could be a reason. But then again, we could meet Sheena and we could be like, oh, she's a scammer. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt in episode 1 just because I feel like his mother's being extra pushy. But I want to give his mother grace because then she tells us he's been scammed before. Of course. He apparently had a girlfriend in Indonesia. He went to Indonesia. He did not have a good time. She scammed him for so much money. And the mom feels a lot of guilt. She's like, oh my God, I didn't protect him there. So this time, it's not going to happen. We're going to go and we're going to make sure that everything's okay. And I'm like, listen, I get it. I get being protective. But I think that it is not fair to crucify Sheena for the crimes that someone else committed, you know? And you see just how deep the mom wants to control when he's like, listen, I'm grateful that you're coming to the Philippines, but I think that I want to stay there a little longer to finish out the paperwork myself. She is like, no. And he didn't ask her for permission. And he doesn't have to. He's an adult. But she's like, no, unacceptable. You're not going to do that. He's like, no, I am going to do that because I want to make sure that I get everything done and get Sheena away from her parents.
I'm not surprised at my mom's reaction. She does not have that control over me. I am an adult, I am my own man, and I will make my own path. No matter what my mom says, I will do what I have to do to rescue Sheena.
The mom is terrified because she's like, oh my God, you're going to be kitty whipped. You know, after they do the deed. If Sheena says, don't go back, stay here with me, look how beautiful life can be, Mama is afraid that Forrest will stay. So this trip is going to be chaotic and I cannot wait to watch it. Let's move on to the next. Y'all, so up next we have Laura, 47 from Washington, and Birkin, 26 from Turkey. That is an age gap. There's so many interesting things in this storyline, okay? So when we see Laura, she's asking all of these questions to her AI machine. And you know, I get it. Sometimes our friends cannot be therapists, but she's here asking the AI for fashion advice. And the AI draws the line at any smut activity, which is her favorite, apparently. She writes and reads smut, which, you know, who doesn't love a little audio? But we learned a little bit about her backstory. She was married at 21. It didn't work out. She's been dating. She was engaged again another time, but it just didn't work out. And then she found love on Snapchat, out of all places. And that is where Birkin slipped into her, not Birkin, what's his name? Beerkan stepped into her DMs, okay? But before we even get to Beerkan, we see her doing all of these activities with this man named Michael, I think, right? And she talks about how Michael is her match. They do everything together. They're so close. She never felt like she had things in common with people until she met him.
We don't only play pickleball together. Hike, we bike, we kayak, line dance, we cook together, we have amazing conversations together. Michael is always a great sounding board and super supportive. He is just an incredible person.
We see them playing pickleball. And at the end, they're having this conversation and she's like, yeah, I'm going to meet my boyfriend in Turkey. And they're like, wait, what do you mean you're meeting your boyfriend? Is this not your boyfriend? No, the man that looks like is her husband is her best friend, Michael. She's actually dating this guy, Beerkan. And so immediately I'm like, oh my God, like she's here talking about Beerkan. Michael looks very uncomfortable. So I'm like, oh my God, did she friend zone him? Like, what's the tea? And she stressed so much at the top of her segment about the importance of having things in common with your partner, except all that she can say about Beerkan is that he's hot and he's tall. Nothing of substance. And Michael is just like, I'm afraid that once this guy comes in, there's going to be a shift in our relationship. And it's like, yeah, man, you're not her man. But also, why aren't you her man? And so in a separate scene, we see them like meal prep some granola bars, some protein bars, because she's on this health journey. She's lost tons of weight and she wants to make sure that she can maintain it because she also has some insecurities about her body and possibly her age in seeing this young guy. And Michael says, so I wanted to pick up, you didn't really tell me how you feel about me visiting Turkey, which, spoiler alert, he's gonna visit Turkey. But she's like, I don't know, because Beerkan is not really a fan of that. And obviously, this man is not gonna be a fan of you bringing the guy that you already play house with. Like, there's a boundary issue here.
If he feels that I'm a problem, then my biggest concern is how much is he going to want you to pull away?
And I don't think that that's Beerkan being controlling. You have admitted that you and Michael operate as a married couple without the actual physical intimacy.
I told you that this has an expiration date. When either one of us met someone, everything would change. This is not a normal dynamic. It's like a relationship, but not a relationship with every single aspect other than the physical aspect of it.
Except she tells us that after years of friendship, she developed feelings. And when she came forth and was like, hey, what do you want to do about this? Michael shut down. And they always had this agreement between each other that, like, the minute they moved on, their relationship would have to change because it's only what's right and what's fair for their partners. Except I don't think that Michael ever expected her to move on so quick, or with someone that's young and tall that he can't compete with, right? But if only he knew that there wasn't ever a competition. Like, that spot is yours if you want it. And still, she's here like, you're still not saying nothing, Michael. And she tells us that the minute she moved on, he started, being a little more physical with her, but never says, I want to be with you.
His interactions with me have definitely gotten a little more touchy-feely. He started holding my hand. He took me on what I can only describe as a date. So I'm starting to think that Michael has feelings for me that are more than just friendship. And for whatever reason, he has refused to accept or acknowledge it.
So in this moment, in his face, she's like, I've given you ample opportunity and you have basically friend-zoned her.
I feel like you want my time and attention as though I am your girlfriend, but you're so afraid to take that risk and go all in because you don't want to end up hurt.
And as they're even talking about this, you guys, his eyes are watering. And I'm like, oh my God. He's really like repressing these feelings. And I kind of love how direct she's being. Like, it's like you can't ever say that you both weren't aware of what's happening. And if you lose her, it's because you got in the way, Michael. Like, he's crying and I'm like, oh my God, this man, he's frightened. And I think what's so comical about it is that they already have everything that encompasses a relationship except the title and like the intimacy, but he's so afraid of that title. And he says something about, he rejects people before they reject him because he has a birth defect. They never say what it is. He doesn't owe us an explanation of what that is. But I'm like, I almost wish that they did tell us because I feel like it then makes everyone's imagination go wild. Because I'm like, okay, you're a grown man. What birth defect do you feel would impede in a relationship? Is it a micropene? But again, he doesn't owe that to us. But I'm nosy and I would love to know. Y'all, not me going on a whole tangent about this man potentially having a micropene when the whole time I think he's talking about his face. I didn't notice it until I rewatched it that he has a scar on his face. And it didn't stand out to me. But I don't want to downplay what it could mean for him, how it could have affected his life, and what health implications it has. But wow, not me talking about something completely different. I hope that we learn more about it, but I also hope that he knows that he's still handsome. But I can only imagine just how deeply it might have affected him as a young man. But right now, I feel like he has a great face. What he needs to do is shave his head and just own being bald and fierce. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to let y'all know that I'm not a complete idiot. I did notice and wanted to correct myself. Another theory that I have is that I really do think Laura still wants Michael, and maybe she's testing him. Maybe she's like putting him to the fire and being like, listen, you're this close to losing me. I am a hot commodity out in these streets. Man up. Because I don't know. I just feel like the real love story here is them. It's not her and Beer Can. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see how that develops. The next one is Rick and Trisha. So Rick is 52 from California and Trisha 25 from Madagascar. This age difference is unacceptable. He can be her father. But let me get into it, okay? When we see Rick, he's here advertising wigs. I'm guessing on like TikTok shop. He has a seasonal wig shop. He got it because his ex-wife was a hairstylist and it was just a way to make money. But it doesn't pay all of the bills. So he also teaches tap dance and he's really good at it.
People are usually surprised to find out that I teach tap dance. But my mom, she grew up on Shirley Temple movies. So she put me and my sister in dance classes, and I kind of quickly became like the main event of the recitals.
And in his free time, he's spending time with his kids, as he should. He has 5 kids total, 3 adults, 2 little ones from his recent marriage, which I'm like, okay, how many times have you been married? I don't trust that man, you know? I already don't trust him. With this age gap alone, I'm like, I'm going to try to remain open, but I will say, you haven't met this girl yet, and you're already telling your young, impressionable kids about this girlfriend. I love when parents introduce their girlfriends as like, oh, my friend, my little friend. That's mommy's friend. That's daddy's friend. Because I just think it's just too much. Like, don't be telling these kids, oh, yeah, you're going to have a bonus mommy coming. Like, it's too much, you know? It's just a bad idea. But anyway, he lets us know Trisha, is her name Trisha or Trish? What's her name? Trisha. He lets us know that Trisha is from Madagascar, and he didn't even know this place was a thing, aside from the movie, of course. And he says that he was on a trip, and he met 2 beautiful girls from Madagascar, and he was like, wow, I want some of that. So he gets on an international dating app and specifically searches Madagascar, and that is how he found Trisha. And this is where the red flags on both sides start pouring in, because the kids are like, let's FaceTime Trisha. They FaceTime her. She's gorgeous. She's so happy to see everybody. And she's like, seeing you with kids is just so beautiful. I can't wait for us to have our own. I feel like they would be so beautiful. Red flag, you haven't met this man. Why are you trying to get your egg scrambled? Why? That's 1. 2, his reaction too, because they're both bad. They're both ends of the extreme. Because he's like, I already have 5 kids, like, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm sorry. You are specifically pursuing younger women and you think that their life begins and ends with you?
We can make a good babies, like a beautiful baby, these Madagascar babies. So.
But you know, I already have 5 of my own.
Like, did it ever occur to you that they could want kids of their own? Like, so I'm like, oh, what? She's only here to fulfill your needs, your fantasy? Get the F out of here, okay? But now 3, he's like, you know, I feel like there's just too much going on for us to even discuss kids, because apparently this girl ghosted him for 5 days and then came back like nothing and hasn't had a really good explanation.
I don't know if I can fully trust her.
A few weeks ago, she just stopped talking to me. She basically ghosted me. I was going crazy because I didn't know what was happening. I felt abandoned.
And I'm like, if you are in a relationship with someone and they disappear for even a day without like a heads up, I think that's problematic for me. 5 days, don't consider us together. I would be worried sick, so I would want confirmation that you're okay. But once I know that you're okay, you clearly have no consideration for me.
Finally, after 5 days, she answered my call. I've tried to discuss this with her, but all it does is make her angry. So I still don't know what really happened.
And And so we hear the story of her ghosting him a few times. The first time that he said it, I looked at him and I'm like, there has to be a reason why she was like, I need to cut off communication with this guy. I don't trust him just based off of the age gap. So I'm like, what did you do? But then the second time I hear this story, I'm like, maybe there's something more going on. I don't know. First impressions. Because we see him go to his sister's house for a barbecue, okay? And of course, when the family's around, they're going to ask you about your little girlfriend. And that they do. They're like, okay, do you think that she's the one? And he's like, I thought she was the one until she ghosted me for 5 days. And they're like, 5 days? What was the reason? And apparently he hasn't been able to get like a straight answer from her. He says that like during the 5 days or like afterwards, aftermath, she would give him like one word answers. And then when she came around again, she said that like she got into like her brother got in an accident in her motorcycle. But then at one point, the police were involved because her ex-boyfriend accused her of stealing from his family. And I'm like, what in the world is happening in Madagascar?
Like some excuse that her brother wrecked her motorcycle, dealing with the police. At the same time, the police was called on her because her ex-boyfriend had accused her of robbing his family's house.
And then he's like, and I don't really know what to think. Also, I'm insecure because I'm broke as can be, and her ex-man has money. Y'all, I forgot to include in my recording, but let me add it here. Rick says that something happened in those 5 days. I think he's implying that he cheated. Or in my brain, I'm like, oh my God, he went back to his baby mama. Because he's saying that there's something that he has deep regrets about that his girlie has no idea about.
When I wasn't hearing from Trish, something happened that she has no idea about. Sometimes you make choices that stay with you. And this one's been haunting me.
And I had mixed feelings about it because I'm like, okay, damn, like you couldn't get confirmation on what was happening with her before you put your dick somewhere else. But then again, like I said, if you disappear on me on 5 days, I consider us not together. But I think it's shady for both of them to be keeping secrets about what happened during those 5 days and then go on like nothing happened. So whatever is going to come out, I have a feeling is going to be messy. But yeah, that was it for them this episode. I foresee a major shit show ahead of us. I cannot wait. Let's move on to the final one. Y'all, this final one, my notes are longer because what in the world did we just see? So it's Emma, 28 from California, and Ziad, 27 from Morocco. She's very beautiful, okay? The wig is bothering me. It's giving Sophie. It's too to the front, but she's beautiful, okay? And we see her trying on wedding dresses, except it is her friend's wedding appointment, not hers, because she's not engaged. And I'm just like, oh, we have someone that likes to make every moment about themselves. She has main character syndrome, and we see that literally in every scene that we see. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna love her or hate her by episode 3. I don't know, but she's definitely gonna give us a lot to talk about, okay? At the time of the show, she's 27 and she feels like she's ancient, and I'm like, girl, you're not ancient, but she feels like she's behind. She wants to be married. She wants to have kids. So she's like, okay, let's get this show on the road. She has a twin. However, they do not look like twins at all. Maybe it's makeup. Maybe it's the Botox because they both work at Med Spa. You could tell that her sister is not fond of the dating history. And when she tells us that she's going to find love in Morocco, her sister's like, why would you do that? Like, you're going to find F-boys just like you find them in LA. But Emma does not want to hear it. She's like, you need to support me. Like, this time is different.
I'm definitely a little bit boy crazy. I fall in love after one date or one shot of tequila. 1 shot of tequila, I love you. 2 shots of tequila, I'm going home with you. Is that bad to say?
Emma found this guy on an international dating app. She seems to have a type. And she says that, she falls in love quickly. So, of course, this guy calling her his future wife within 15 minutes was everything she needed to hear, except this is her second Moroccan in 2 years. Because, honey, just last year, she was with a Moroccan and it did not go well. And they were even engaged.
Last year, I flew to Morocco for the first time to meet Mohammed, and I was completely head over heels in love with him, but he ended up breaking my heart. It's not going to be the same outcome.
And she's only been dating this new guy, Ziad, for like 4 months. And he doesn't know of her past with the other Moroccan. So that in itself, and so imagine being her sister, knowing all of that context, and then having your twin sister being like, yeah, I'm going to go to Morocco this time after being with this guy for less than 5 months, never meeting in person, and I expect a proposal. A proposal when he doesn't even know your truth is crazy. This is where things get a little tricky. We see her FaceTime him on the beach. She's in a bikini. He clearly knows the kind of girly that she is, her lifestyle. He's seen her photos. He loves it. She, though, is aware that he's Muslim. She's dated a Muslim guy before. She's been to Morocco. She knows what the societal expectations are. But I think she's a girly that's like, well, I'm me. And it doesn't matter that I can be me wherever I am. And I'm like, yeah, you could be you in LA, but when you go to somewhere else, you got to play the part and also know when you're pushing limits. And I blame Ziad for not being outspoken because she's like, oh, so am I going to be able to kiss you? Is it going to be okay? Like, because I know people can be a little weird about that. He's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You're my girl.
Wait, so am I allowed to kiss you in the airport?
Of course, you are my girl, so who's
But aren't there like weird rules about like...
No, I don't care about peoples, and all peoples don't care about us.
You are his first American. I don't think he knows how kissy you're trying to be. So he's here playing it up because he's excited that you're coming, but you've been there, so you know better. And I think that deep down she knows, but she's trying to like push past it. She's like, my ex was really, really paranoid and really conservative. And, I just really hope that like Ziad isn't lying to me. Girl, you know he's lying to you because you've been there. And I just don't appreciate how pushy she's being about like the physical. She's like, oh, we're going to do everything night one.
Are you nervous for our first night, babe?
No, I'm not. Kisses, hugs.
You only want to kiss and hug me? That's it?
Hey, you have to tell me what's the plan.
We're going to do everything on night one. We're getting right to it.
And we're also, and you're also going to propose on my birthday, right? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, let's, take it easy. And then we see her the day that she's flying out. She's packing all of these itty bitty things. And I'm like, do you know where you're going? Like, you're not going to a resort. And her brother and her sister are there helping her get together. And her brother pulls out this Moroccan dress and he's like, you're bringing this? And the sister's like, why would you bring something that your ex's mom got for you? Obviously, Ziad's going to have questions because it's clearly a Moroccan dress. And so her thought process is, oh, well, he knows that I've been to Morocco before, but he thinks I went for a friend. Maybe that'll be my opening to let him know about my past. And her siblings are like, he's not going to take that well. And she confesses that there was an overlap. We learned so much information in this bit, right? Because her sister's trying to like reason with her. She's like, listen, Emma, if he sees that you have this dress from your ex, he's going to think that you are not over it. And I don't think that Emma is over it. I think that she's just moving through the motions. And we learn that she was engaged to this guy. She was in Morocco with him. And then when she was on her way back, she just had a feeling that something was off. He was acting weird. So she then proceeds to message all the girls in his friend list, which sounds crazy, but it's not crazy if you find out that he had over 20 girlfriends. And so when she landed, he was like, you're crazy. We're done. And I'm like, she was clearly crazy with a cause. Do I have that kind of time to message all of the girls in your friend list? Just consider us done. But she got the confirmation that she needed, not the one that she wanted. So apparently there was a gap where they didn't talk, her and Mohammed, and that is where she met Ziad. But then she wanted to pick things up again with Mohammed, so she dropped Ziad.
Because when me and Ziad first started talking online, me and Mohammed were kind of on rocky terms. So there was a little bit of an overlap between the two of them. But I decided I was going to make things work with Mohammed, and I ended up cutting things off with Ziad. But eventually things fell apart with Mohammed and I. And 5 months ago, I got a message from Ziad, and we kind of just like picked up where we left off.
And then didn't tell him why when they got back together. So it is a mess. There was an overlap. So her brother is like, listen, the minute Ziad finds out that there was an overlap, it's going to be done. Like, his pride is not going to take that. And all of the Moroccan men that we've seen on the show, they don't play that. So even before we meet Ziad, I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work, okay? But anyway, y'all, they're on their way to the airport, and she's here like, maybe I'll move to Morocco. Who knows? And her sister's like, what? She's like, oh yeah, I lost my job because I lied to HR at my job. As she's trying to move the mirror while her sister's driving. There was just so many moments that I'm like, how have you made it to 27? You seem like a train wreck. But y'all, this is a big deal that she lost her job because she promised Ziad that she would be paying for everything while in Morocco because he's a nurse and he doesn't make a lot of money. And her sister's like, maybe you should stay behind. You don't have a job. You can use that money to get yourself together, to hold you over until you get a new job. She's like, no, I already planned this trip. There's a lot riding on it. Just hoping that he will be okay with me not paying for everything. And I'm like, I mean, I hope it's not an issue, but I foresee this being another issue because you look like you have expensive taste. So unless you're going to do local things with him, I highly doubt that he's going to pay. So yeah, this is a mess. But anyway, she's at the airport. She arrives to Morocco. She tells us, oh, I was so excited, but then I got a text from Ziad that makes me feel like he lied to me, like things are going to be different. And she won't tell us what the text is, but I'm like, okay. And we see her change. Then they pan to Ziad. He tells us he's so excited. This is his first love. We see him picking up flowers. He says something like, you know, Americans are so open-minded, but here in Morocco, we have rules. Okay, did you express them to Emma before? No, it sounds like he expressed those rules literally as she landed. And so he's waiting in the parking lot because the Marrakesh airport is a lot. And like, sure, I've been to Marrakesh. It is busy, but she's going to need help with her luggage. So I'm like, why are you just standing there? She comes out. She changed into this dress that I'm like, you know that's not appropriate for this place. You know it's not. And it's a mini dress. Boobs can pop out at any moment. Like, I would wear that at a resort. I don't think that I would wear that in a conservative place. And also, as you're having to like mess around with luggage, it keeps falling. You have to keep bending down. Like, it's a mess. But eventually, they lock eyes. She runs to him. They just kiss on the cheek, but they hug. And so here's where we learn that he texted her about, no PDA. And she was like, yeah, you told me that I can't kiss you. And he was like, oh, well, we could kiss on the cheek, but I just want to make sure that you know that we can't like make out. And she's like, well, you told me that it wouldn't be a problem. And he did tell her that, but that was a lie. But then things take a shift where he's tries to give her a kiss on the cheek, like to be like, no, we can kiss like this. And she goes like this. She's like, no, my makeup.
For example, here in Morocco, we kiss people like face to face.
No, I don't want to mess up my makeup.
Okay, that's nice. Okay.
And that is rejection. First of all, you have like 10 pounds of makeup on, like a kiss is going to be fine. But you rejected him. And not only did you reject him, you reject him on camera. And if we've seen anything about Moroccan men on this show is that they are prideful. Okay? And he's like, and he's young too. So he feels like he has something to prove, you know? So when she does that, he is like, oh, don't worry. That is the last kiss that you'll get from me. And I'm a man of my word.
It will be the last kiss I will give you. You will see.
So you're not going to kiss me anymore?
No, anymore. I'm a man. I have my word.
And I was like, she's a red flag, but you are too, because yuck. What was that? Like, your masculinity is that fragile that in an instant you're like, I'm gonna punish you? Crazy. And so she ends up walking away crying because she's like, oh my God, like, you're switching up on me on day one like this? Like, that's crazy. And it is.
And I feel really blindsided. Leading up to me coming to Morocco, all of our conversations have been how much we want each other and how much we love each other and can't wait to touch each other. And
I was shooketh. I was like, damn, he's strict over here. But he's a liar. He lied about his lifestyle and she was naive to believe it. But again, I think that she has one agenda in mind and she was willing to ignore everything. But it looks like they're gonna, you know who they remind me of from the B-roll that we're seeing of like what's to come? Brittany and that guy from Jordan. Remember when she had like that meltdown when his family was like, you have to wear hijab. Oof, I am so excited for this season, you guys. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who are you looking forward to watching the most? Tell me everything. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye.